How's it, everyone? We are the Joystick Show. Your three favorite friends from Hawaii are back to talk about the latest things we've read, watched, or played. We'll share our shtick with you, so thanks for sticking around. If you fancy what you hear, as always, please like and subscribe on anywhere you can find podcasts, and or whichever one you use the most, because that makes sense. And just to let you know, I'm your co-host Drake. That's Thomas.
Hey, yeah,
Eh,
it's funny. Like, yeah, I think they would know it's you, hopefully by now, unless it's your first
Yeah.
time, right?
Yes. I
Yeah,
mean, I don't show a lot of shoulders on here, so I feel like,
that's
ooh, who's
true.
that guy with shoulders?
Your shoulders really
Um,
threw everybody off.
yeah,
No
they're
doubt.
like, what's
Yeah.
going on there? But let's talk about your background for a little bit. You're staying in the Amityville horror house. How are you loving it?
Yeah, it's it's too good. Yeah, it's too good. Yeah. Hey,
It was also based in
better.
Michigan too, so
Yes, Oh, is it really?
I think so.
Better Wi-Fi than I was expecting. So let's
Yeah.
just say that.
Yeah, wood is a transmitter. It brings nutrients from the ground up to the trees, so it only makes sense that it works with Wi-Fi.
Yeah, it holds in ghost bodies a lot better than your typical houses. Yeah, no
Yeah,
doubt.
it looks. I mean, this is the idea, I think, of shiplap and natural wood. It
Right.
looks like you have a oil lamp behind you just for the effect. I'm loving it.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. It does. Yeah, so I'm out of town currently right now. Zooming in from afar, from across the country. And yeah, it does look like an oil lamp. Check out our YouTube so you can see it. It's kind of, I got my Truly in front of us as well. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It's working, man. We're doing it. I could cut out
yeah,
any second right now. So, you're warned. You've been warned.
yeah. The
And if you,
joystick show cabins. What?
right, right. I was just gonna say too, if I get like slowly murdered from behind you, like use this video as evidence for like ghost hunters. Cause
Yeah, if there's
yeah,
a face behind you, I'm gonna immediately let you know because that would be super scary.
yeah.
Um,
Now I'm gonna be constantly looking for it the whole time
I
we're
know.
doing this.
Or
Yeah,
like the glass reflection is kind of faint too,
just a
so
face pops up
yeah,
on
yeah,
this side.
it's
Yeah.
freaking me out already.
Oh, great.
It's almost like someone's trying to secretly invade you.
Ooh, nice. I like that. Yes,
Yeah.
good segue. We will be talking Secret Invasion finale. You weren't able to watch it yet. No problem. We'll briefly go over it. TMNT Mutant Mayhem has just come out, and we have an Ahsoka trailer that we never got to talk about. We have a Loki
The
trailer
Loki trailer,
that
yep.
just came out. I saw the first episode of Twisted Metal, and you saw Joyride, the movie, which I really, really wanted to see. So let's kick it off with TMT. You were kind of talking about how us now, we kind of, or I guess kids now, just kind of get recycled things from when we were kids.
Yeah,
Like,
like you hit it on the head. Whenever we've seen what we've seen now that's become popular in, I guess, for the youth is a lot of like Disney things where they're trying to revamp original characters, right? Like, how
live
can I
action
make
remakes.
Little Mermaid? Yeah. They're not good, but kids dig them. Kids dig, I guess, watching something that represents some sort of live action thing that they can relate to now because it came out during their time. And same thing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, like you talked about off air. They were voiced by literal kids, and for me personally, I
Yeah.
want to watch it because of the art. But in thinking about it from a little kid's standpoint, to have that kind of representation, and noticeably, if you did that with something like Power Rangers, that'd be super awesome. But for you and I, TMNT, Power Rangers, all these 90s things are coming back tenfold, and now we can share that with the youth. And we can still enjoy it too because they're trying to make it great for everyone. And I think that's a great approach to entertainment.
Yeah, I mean, with the TMNT of it all, I think Seth Rogen, I mean, who helped write it, I think him and the other guy who helped write Superbad. So somehow Nickelodeon was like, oh yeah, the guys that do Superbad, do a kids cartoon. Somehow that worked out, but he said the one thing that's been
Sorry, folks, a
neglected.
little bit of technical difficulties because he's in a horror cabin.
Yeah, yeah,
So just
exactly.
wait a.
Yeah, but basically, what Seth Rogen was saying was the one thing that's been neglected is the teenage part
How
of
about
the
you?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So, like now they actually are teenagers, so I think it's going to be good. It looks like they had a blast. Seth Rogen talked a lot about doing voice acting roles and stuff. And normally he's like, you don't even meet your castmates till the red carpet. And he's like, forget that. For this one, we're putting all of them in a room together, and then they did. So I'm sure the vibe is more lively because of it.
Yeah, he kind of took almost like a teacher approach, right? Like, get everybody in the room together, get everybody to know each other. They vibe a little bit better. Those differences can become similarities. Seth Rogen, maybe he's bringing children together slowly, like educator. You say that out loud too long, it sounds real creepy. So moving on.
Moving on. Exactly. So yeah, that was TMNT. We got some trailers, like we said, that just came out. One that we didn't get to talk about recently though was the Ahsoka trailer, which was the last one. I think it comes out on your birthday, right?
Yeah. Which that's pretty fantastic. Hopefully I'll be off of work. Probably not. But your first reaction to Ahsoka, I know you more recently watched Rebels, and you started to dig it. How are you feeling the vibes? I know they, through the trailer, they switched up a couple things, but I thought, that's kind of cool. Maybe we'll roll with it.
Yeah, so first off, I think the trailer by itself looks awesome. I mean, the Ahsoka character and the Rosario Dawson casting, it seems like it just perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, right? I mean, she's so good. I mean, I don't know anything bad that Rosario Dawson's done, but except for Haunted Mansion, which doesn't seem to be killing the box office right now. But
yeah.
But I think it looks fantastic. It's got the right feel, the right beat to it. It feels more samurai movie than old western, which I really dig.
Yeah.
I don't know. For people who haven't watched Rebels, I don't know how they're gonna like it, and so I'm really curious to see the response once the show comes out. If people are like, yeah, I really dig this, are there going to be so many things you need to understand from Rebels to enjoy it? I don't know. I think that's yet to be seen, but the trailer looked awesome. What did you think?
No, same. I the thing that stood out to me is like Sabine Wren.
Yeah.
And kind of some minor changes. I do love that actress. I think she fits that role quite perfectly. I think to see also a lot of the Mandalorian situation come back into the fold, it's almost like a turnstile for what we've seen with Book of Fett and also Mandalorian. So I hopefully people who have watched both those things kind of seamlessly engage, like, oh, this is familiar. I've seen a Luke Skywalker before. That's Ahsoka. I've seen a Mandalorian before with Din Djarin. So that's Sabine. Now they're mashing it up together. It's tons of action. This backstory that we've always kind of wanted to talk about Thrawn. We get to see a live action situation about it as well too. So
what did you think about Thrawn? Did you think he looked good or cool?
I know that actor from what is that called? Sherlock, and some other things, and he plays a great bad guy. I think I've seen a lot of animated Thrawn face, and I like that a lot in terms of like the length of it, the nose. I think the character has the general vibe and mood and demeanor. Just the look kind of is a little bit different, but I don't know if that's going to be a deal breaker for me. How about you?
Yeah, because he is the voice on Rebels for the character, so it's like the voice is going to be spot on because it is him. But yeah, I was like, oh yeah, it doesn't quite look like the animated one, but I mean, he's a Skarsgård, so I feel like they're always amazing and everything.
Yeah, they do great stuff.
He's probably going to kill it. But
we should just make a movie called Skarsgårds, and then all they do is act towards each other.
Yeah. Oh, just all of them, like the dad and I mean, shoot, they're slowly taking over Star Wars. Now it's the dad that's been in Andor. This Skarsgård has been in Ahsoka. Now you just need the two other ones, the one that did it, and then the one from Succession, and then you got them all.
Jesus Christ! Automatic Oscar award winning if all the Skarsgårds are Skarsgårding.
Right? Just put the mom in it and game over. Yeah.
Speaking of Grammy award winning, or did I say Grammy award winning or Oscar award winning? Which one's the one for things we watch?
For movies, Oscars. Yeah,
Oscars. Weird. Yeah. Okay. Do you think that the critically acclaimed series Loki for its second season will also reach that critical acclaim based on what you've seen in the trailer?
Yeah, man. I thought the trailer was superb. It looked fire. Like, it looks like it picks up, and it does seem to pick up right where season 1 leaves off.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's wearing the same suit. We've got Loki and Mobius back together, which was a
Yup.
hit last season.
Great tandem.
Yeah, and then you have Kei Kwan right at the
Yeah.
beginning, and he just was so perfect. I feel like in this role already. I'm glad that he's getting all of this, highlight
Love,
shine.
yeah.
Yeah, and love again because of the Everything Everywhere All at Once. But he seems so perfect for it. I'm super stoked that they got Kei Kwan in here, and
Yeah,
then just more action. Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you're right. A lot more action. The one thing that stood out to me the most from that trailer was like, man, I can't believe that Disney made Everything Everywhere All at Once canon in the Star Wars universe or the Marvel universe. Because it played to me, it was almost like I was watching it, not because Quan was in there, but because like how it flowed, it felt very not random, not too out of this way, kind of how like Sausage Fingers, but it did give me those sort of vibes.
Yeah. All we
So
need
I was
is
excited.
Michelle Yeoh to come in with Sausage Fingers, though, and it'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I think I've seen this. We're going to have part two. No, you're right. I mean, everything exists in the multiverse, so there's one universe where Kei Kwan became OB in Loki, so
Yeah,
it's there,
it's-
man. It all
it's
connects.
nuts. And you said when does that series come out?
So I think that comes out October of this year.
Oh, dang.
It's got a little bit
Halloween
of time. Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna do with the Jonathan Majors of it all. Like that seems a little like sus. I think it just depends on. Luckily, they haven't made a verdict if he's guilty or innocent. But man, if he goes guilty, I'm sure this is the last time we see Jonathan Majors in the
I
MCU.
know, but how perfect to he's in a villainous role in his life, potentially allegedly. But to me, like he's such a great actor. Like let that dude act. It's not like Ezra Miller's an Oscar award winner / Grammy award winner. You know what I mean? But Jonathan Majors, he's a heavy, Emmy award winning. I don't know. That's daytime TV.
Man,
But
that guy was on the rise, though.
yeah,
I mean,
I mean, let that guy villain if he wants to villain. I think it just adds to the allure. Like if he was still in it, I know people would boycott it, but I would watch it because I'm like, oh man, like how method is this guy going? You know?
yeah. Okay. Do you feel that way if the same could be said about Ezra Miller or Kevin Spacey?
That's true.
You,
Yeah,
you think
Kevin,
Kevin Spacey should like if he gets to be a villain? Would you go and be like, yeah, I'm watching this new Kevin Spacey movie?
I mean, if there's a lot of young boys in it, probably not. But Kevin Spacey was so good in House of Cards. Like,
he was. Yeah, he was. We're
you know?
taking the artist away from the art here. We're not saying he's a great guy or anything like that.
yeah. I just like he's so good. He makes that show so good.
He does. Yeah.
Ezra Miller, what else was he in aside from The Flash?
I don't know. They were in a very really shitty version of a Harry Potter movie that I didn't watch.
Well, he has. I can't really make a case for Ezra Miller, but for the other two, in terms of what they've accomplished,
Yeah, what else has
for sure.
Ezra Miller done? No idea. No
I
idea.
mean, he's one of the first Ezras to ever be talked about as much as Ezra has.
Right.
And not Bridger, because we're going back to Ahsoka,
We already
and
did
we've already passed that, so
We've
we're
already
moving
gone
forward.
there.
Yeah.
Oh, last thing I will say though, it is on the Ahsoka side of it. It is tough to see. Oh man, I'm totally blanking on his name right now. But he plays the new non-Jedi guy with the orange lightsaber. I forgot what his name is right now.
Oh, not Ezra Bridger, but the Kanan. No. Oh,
Kanan,
the bearded
vil-
guy.
Yeah,
the bad guy.
villains. Yeah, with Shiakti Mundi or whatever.
Yeah.
Padawan is. Yeah, it's Ray Stevenson.
Oh
wanna
yeah,
say.
okay.
It's
And
tough to see
he-
him because I just watched RRR recently again, and he just he seemed like a good guy, and everybody really liked him, and he put in so much time doing all these things. So yeah, I hope the show's good for his sake. You know?
Wow. Yeah.
Anyways, sorry.
R.I.P. to what's his name from what is that called? Dang it, I don't remember what it's called.
Wow, this is a
Euphoria.
oh god, we
Yeah.
got him too, and Pee Wee
Yeah,
Herman.
R.I.P.
Yeah, R.I.P. to all those actors who did something. I mean, Angus Cloud, like that kid was on the rise. And literally a kid. He's only 25 years old. So sad. He was doing a bunch of different ads, and I really wanted to see what was going to happen to him post this last season of Euphoria. So that's just a bummer. Yeah,
Yeah.
just check on your people, make sure everybody's okay, and times can be tough, and yeah, just look out for people because you never know.
You never know. It's definitely not like jumping into a car that has, homing missiles and machine guns and driving across the desert and killing other guys
Oh
in
yeah,
a similar type of car, but maybe a different model, so it looks different.
Twisted
Twisted
Metal.
Metal episode 1. Did you got to see the thing?
Yes. So I did get to watch episode 1, and I started episode 2, didn't get to finish it, but surprisingly fun. And like
Okay.
not as dumb as I thought it was gonna be.
Yeah.
Because in the trailers it looks pretty dumb.
It looked kind of
Uh,
maybe not.
Yeah, a little like janky, a little bit like, alright, I guess they're just doing this for a cash grab. But Anthony Mackie, so fun in it. The premise is kind of interesting. Like a big war or outbreak happens or something, and all the cities, major cities, start walling them up, and then people have to basically drug run supplies from city to city, and
Yeah,
he's one of
drugs.
those, yeah, those runners, and yeah, it's pretty good so far. I laughed a little bit. The action
Okay.
was crazy. Like it's pretty violent. And then Twisted Metal
Love
was
it.
a very violent game, but
Yep.
there's like people's face getting shot off, and I'm like, oh
Wow.
wow. But then they
Wow.
throw in these jokes, and it like kind of works. Yeah, and so I'm really
It's
really digging it right now.
awesome. It reminded me of like If the Hills Have Eyes was a comedy.
Oh shit, that might work, man. I'd
I
check that
mean,
out.
yeah,
It's. Did you ever watch Blood and Honey? The
Blood
Winnie
and
the
Honey.
Pooh.
No, I did not. How
We
did you
gotta
watch
check
it?
that. No, we gotta check that out sometime. I'm
Okay.
curious. I'm just like curious, like how they
Yeah.
mess with Winnie the Pooh and make it like fucking gnarly. I don't know.
Definitely. I feel like that'd be so creepy. I've seen some of the still shots of it, and like, I just imagine seeing that in like the outside world, and I get like, I don't know, I get aggressive. I'm like, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna jump on Winnie the Pooh, or is he gonna suck me
Yeah.
with his honey? You know what I mean? He's gonna honey pot me? I don't know.
He's gonna honey pot you big time. I thought you were gonna say I don't want to see him pop up, and then I thought you were gonna say your window, and then I was gonna be like, motherfucker, why are you
Oh,
bringing something up about the window? I'm already freaked
yeah, yeah,
out.
yeah. I mean, yeah, there's nothing out there. I don't see any.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet. Coast
Nothing
is
yet.
clear.
Okay. Whew.
But yeah. What
Um,
about you? Like based on that, knowing that the first episode's pretty decent, and you have Beatrice, from what is it, Brooklyn Nine-Nine in there. Anthony
oh,
Mackie
yeah, yeah,
kills
yeah.
it. How do you feel about what? Like, are you gonna check it out?
I think yes, and I think for me the vibe that I'm getting from it, from what you've said, and kind of from what I've seen. Obviously, I'll get into the episodes a lot deeper when I get to watch them. But to, I think this could be a thing that A, could be genre opening, and B, if it does well in the first season, imagine how much more individuals they can bring into the fold in Twisted Metal, bring out the lore a little bit more, and then you got a lot more. Like imagine if they were able to get Tom Cruise, doing some sort of character base in there, just getting in more people, just like how Brooklyn Nine-Nine did. And I'm not saying
Right.
just because the actress Beatrice is in there is that it's going to go that way, but I
They
think
should have Andy Samberg, and
yeah,
then they have like
Colin Farrell,
two guys
yeah,
with sandwiches. Yeah.
yeah, Kevin Spacey, like all these guys should just come in.
God, yeah. Well, as long as he's the villain.
Yeah, yeah. We
Just
talked
joking.
about it. We mentioned it earlier.
Yes.
But from one ride to another, I watched Joyride the other day.
Oh yeah,
Um,
dude, I've been wanting to watch it. I like. Speaking about everything, every all at once, they had the daughter in that movie, right?
yes. What is her name? Stephanie Sue.
She's
That
good,
cat.
man. Yeah, she was also in
She's
Marvelous
good.
Miss Maisel too, and she killed it
Yep.
there. Yeah.
They had Ashley Clark from Emily in Paris. They had Sherry Cola from another CW show. I don't remember. And then Sabrina Wu, who I think is a stand-up comedian.
Oh, woo woo.
And they also had that one super hot Asian dude from uh, what is that Asian movie where it's Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which one was the
Um,
main?
it was
bad
the guy who was getting married, the Australian Asian man.
Oh, the first wedding they go to, like where the.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
So that dude's in
Nice.
it, and So the movie in itself is very, we've seen it before, but it's just an all Asian cast, and then you get a lot more of um, the Asian happenings that you and I can relate to.
Yeah.
So it felt that way. On the other
Cool.
side, some things are like super farcical. Some things were like parodying things from other parodying, not parroting,
Parroting
parroting,
with birds.
petting.
Patting.
Yeah,
Parockling.
yeah. Carbon
Parasailing.
monoxide all onto these traveling movies where the girls don't get along, and then
Okay.
now they're getting along, but there's like this big thing, and then funny. It's not necessarily as clever as Bridesmaids, but that movie Bridesmaids is very how kind of the situations kind of occur, right? There's these individuals that fit these archetypes, and then they kind of work together, but in a more like Asian dynamic.
Yeah. Would you say
And
it's
some
like that awesome movie that Alondra bought on my Amazon Prime, Girls Trip?
it yeah, very much, very much so.
I was just like,
So
oh, so
hilarious.
sorry, I bought it, and I was like, oh,
Yeah.
sweet. This movie we're gonna watch one time
Forever. I mean, since you own it, right? Like that's your favorite movie, right?
Bro, I
Like
love it. Yeah, I've watched
yeah,
it
Girls
like
Trip.
0 times since then. But yeah, we got it.
The- there's moments in here. So for example, I'm just gonna give you a little context. There's moments in here where it's like outwardly sexual, and because we haven't seen Asians in those roles in movies,
Right.
shows,
We've
I
only gotten
think
Ali
that's
Wong.
yeah. They're trying to do those things in here to kind of give more representation. Is what it felt like for me. It's not like I'm saying it wasn't a funny movie because there was points in time where I was like rolling on the ground laughing. At the same point in time, I think it fills a very specific um, representation like stud.
Quota, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that that's the case, and I'm glad that that kind of helps to widen the genre for other actors and showing, especially Asian actors in roles that they would never be typecast for.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, because when would
so
there be 4 like Asian girls that are in a comedic, like a sexually comedic movie?
yeah, you'll never see that because usually the Asian person is a nerd or they're too smart or they're the doctor. It's like not
Right.
necessarily unattainable, but in a very stereotypical role. And
Yeah.
it's not like you don't have that here, but you definitely have it in a more I wouldn't say subdued, but a more strategic way.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
some of like so essentially the main character uh, needs to close this deal, but she can't close this deal because she's meeting a Chinese businessman. The Chinese businessman wants to meet her mom, but she was adopted, and so she's trying to find her mom in China because that's where she thinks she was adopted from. And they go through this whole thing of going to China, and she's feeling, I'm in my roots, and like this feels good, and blah blah blah, things are good. And all of a sudden, French twist added something that's like completely insane, and then it
She's
just
a
kind of
dude.
steamrolls, right?
Yeah.
And then you get to the point of it all breaks down, and then you get your climax, and then everything kind of puts itself
And
back
then they
together in a brand new
climax.
way. Yeah, and it
Nice.
only airs this movie only airs at 12 a.m. just because it is kind of like a Skinamax type situation, but
Ooh.
better for Asians everywhere. So
Nice.
go watch it
Okay.
if you have some time. I think you'd like it.
Yeah, I think you sold me on it. Did you like this or No Hard Feelings better?
Oh, I think I liked. That's tough. I think I like this better because I think it
All
does a lot
right.
more. I think uh, No Hard Feelings is it kind of feels like a Silver Linings Playbook meets like an old tropey like thirst trap movie
Okay.
meets like she's she's got that something or the one
She's
where they
all
make
that?
the nerd into the pretty girl, the
Oh,
prom
right,
one.
right. Yeah.
It kind of
I
gave
like that,
me
yeah.
that kind of situational vibes. Um, but yeah, I would say Joyride for sure over that other one.
Right on. That's a big
And
review,
it's my
man.
thought. Oh yeah,
Yeah, I definitely wanted to watch it. I think this is a movie I think I'm gonna pay for just because I wanna, I wanna represent. I wanna make sure that it's, given the due it deserves, if that makes sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, I want to help it out, but it looks super funny. I'm just bummed I didn't get to watch it yet, but hell yeah, I'm definitely gonna check it out.
Okay.
Secret Invasion finale.
Oh.
Oh boy, oh boy.
So just to head this off, I did not watch it. Uh, I know we
Sadly
talked
did.
yeah, you sadly did. We talked a little bit about it off air, but go ahead and get into it. Tell me why you've had to start seeing a therapist and you are now secretly invading or escaping from this secret invasion finale.
Yeah, I wish this show was the reason I had to see a therapist, but yeah, but I'm glad I have therapy because of this finale, because it
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? It just, man, there was so much that was good about this season, and there was so much about the season that I really, really liked. I thought Samuel L. Jackson was killing it, Olivia Colman killing it, Ben Mendelsohn just killing it, and then
Oh.
and then we get some characters die in it, right? Maria Hill right off the bat. We eventually get Talos. Sorry, this is going full spoilers if you haven't. Yeah, Talos dies, right? And then there's just no payoff for it. Like, we finally get the reveal that Rhodey's a Skrull, and, I don't think that surprised really anybody if you've been on the internet. But it just didn't really land in a way that you're like, oh my god, yeah. Because somehow Fury realizes Rhodey's a Skrull and confronts him about it, or I guess like has a moment where he realizes it, and then he confronts him again off screen. Like it's just weird. Like he realizes it off screen. So there's so many payoffs that could have been big payoffs at the end that we never get because they're fake outs. And so it's like two scrolls. There was a scroll pretending to be Fury with Gravik, and the whole time it's leading you to this Gravik's gonna fight Fury. And then when they start fighting, boom, Fury turns into Gaia, and that's the big payoff. So all of these things that they're saying to each other doesn't really ever get to come to be. It's like if I had an issue with you for years, and then finally we get to have this big chat, and then boom, turns out it's Christina or Scott.
Wow.
You're like, what the heck? You know what I mean? And it just didn't. It just really kind of felt like it was a letdown. There was a bunch of stuff like that in this episode that just really never gave you a great, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Just satisfying conclusion. Yeah, so it was weird. It ends in a big CG fight, and then Gaia somehow, I mean, they both do. Gravik and Gaia get every MCU character's powers, including villains.
Wow.
So now she goes from being this unknown character to seemingly the most powerful character in the whole MCU.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, wait, what? And so, yeah, and just there's a part where I'm sure you've even seen this. Her arm turns into Drax's arm, so she has like a Drax arm and
man.
like
Wow.
the Emilia Clarke body, and it looks so ridiculous. It just
Yeah, it sounds
looks
dumb.
it just looks dumb. I think there's like a Rick and Morty where Morty gets the a giant arm and nothing else. It's like that.
Yeah, from what you have just said, I'm not super stoked on that. I think weird. I'm trying to make a case for it, right? Because we talked about how like the entry was AI driven, or I'm sorry, the opening scenes
Yeah,
were
yeah,
AI
the
driven, and
title
so
sequence.
yeah, you're meant to kind of feel thrown off because this is not typically what you see in Marvel, and like it's such a linear kind of like angular representation in terms of this animation. So maybe the Secret Invasion is going to be like Wanda-esque, where it's kind of throwing us around, not necessarily genre bending, but like it makes us think one thing and then it goes into another. Maybe it gets answered. Hopefully, I mean, I'm just trying to be positive about it, but to be honest, what you said, it sounds like it's a dud.
Dude, good job.
I
Because you're
I think what
doing
would be more interesting is if Rick and Morty was capable of spanning every single like IP. Like if you saw him in Indiana Jones for somehow, or now they're in the Powerpuff Girls, and they're just
with
going
Rick
through
and
everything.
Morty.
Yeah, like if they just broke the eighth barrier, you know what I mean? Like they're just in everything and they just become this cultural icon, which it kind of seems like they're being such a huge tangent. Anyway, getting back
I
to
was like,
the Secret
whoa,
Invasion.
we're back on Rick and Morty. I was like, dude, I have not watched that much Rick and
Yeah.
Morty. I'm
Yeah.
at a loss right now, man. But yeah, no, you. I think I see what you're saying though, where it was like, oh, maybe they wanted to make you think one thing and it turns out something. And I think if that's the direction they were going, they took a big swing and they took a
Failed.
massive miss. Yeah.
Yep.
Like, they just failed and it just didn't really work really well. Fury and his wife end up going back up in the spaceship, and it turns out to be this thing with him and his wife when you thought it was Skrulls are invading the government and they're trying to topple and make the U.S. government start a war. And then at the end, it's just the U.S. government is now trying to hunt down all the Skrulls in the universe. And it's about fear. And then Fury's like, peace out, I'm gone. I'm going to go back to my spaceship with my wife. And you're like, wait, what? So it just gets so confusing.
Wow.
We get to see the real Rhodey. He is in those like mind melting things in basically this radiation filled station. So all these humans are just sitting in radiation for however long, and he comes out and he's like, how long? I forgot what his name. Agent Ross goes, oh, how long have you been in here? And he just doesn't answer. The only hint as to how long he's been in there is that they have to carry him out of there because his legs don't work. So some people are thinking, has this been since Civil War? Meaning, and if it was since Civil War, does that mean when we saw him in Infinity War and Endgame, it was a Skrull, and that whole time he's watching Tony Stark die, and then at his funeral with his kids, it was just a Skrull? It just was really, it's just weird. Nothing.
Too many questions.
Too many questions, man.
Yeah.
And too many unsatisfying endings. I don't really know what they were thinking with this one. Again, I liked a lot of it going into the sixth episode, but that sixth episode just did not bring it all together in a satisfying way. And I think a lot of people online could say, that could be the case for a lot of these Disney Plus shows. It's like they just at the end, and She-Hulk even teased the MCU about it. It's like, what did you expect? A big CGI battle? And then we got a CGI battle here with no real satisfying ending. It's like, you guys have teased it in a different show, and then you're doing the same thing you teased in this latest show, Secret Invasion. It's so weird. I don't know what they were thinking, but hopefully it makes sense when we see the Marvels. But I think this has caused the Marvels even more legwork to do rather than setting it up nicely like,
For
oh
success.
my god.
Yeah.
Okay, we just saw Fury do all this awesome shit, and it's like, I don't know if we get that now with the Marvels.
Brutal.
We'll
Scathing review.
Yeah.
But to be honest, it's for me, it's not par for the course, but you'll notice that a lot of the things that we're getting in the series versions, and you know me, I love me a series. If it's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. So, for example, for myself, in terms of the greater Marvel universe and character building, etc., what was She-Hulk really? And Wanda was great, but in the build up to Multiverse of Madness, that didn't hit as hard. And I think some of these things that are backed by these series, only maybe a 5 to 8% have been successful, not only in series but also adding to the grander Marvel universe. Do you feel like what needs to take place? What do you need to see in the Marvels to make this series, Secret Invasion, worth it? Or do you need to see like a Fantastic Four where they get into it as well too? Like, what do you need to see in order for it to make sense?
Yeah, I just think that the Marvel just has to be a good movie, and that Fury has to be good. Like, it has to be good. Like, if you're gonna do the whole wife thing, which was a big plot point in this series, like, that has to play somehow into the Marvels. But the Marvels just need to be good. I mean, Marvel Online is getting raked over the coals every day for, like, to your point, have these series been worth it? Have they added more to the Marvel universe, or have they torn it apart? And I've liked a lot of them. There's nothing I really dislike. I mean, sadly, She-Hulk was probably the lowest on the list for me in terms of like what I liked. I actually liked the She-Hulk finale more than I liked the show itself. I know people are like, "Oh, that's crazy," and they hated the finale, which is to each their own. I guess I understand why they hated it, but I've liked the Falcon and Winter Soldier. I liked a lot of Moon Knight. I liked a lot of Loki. I liked WandaVision. So, I mean, I've liked more than I've disliked. But these shows, for some reason at the end, it always seems to be something completely different than what we started with. And it doesn't always carry that tone through. And this one, I just really don't understand what they were going for. It just seemed like, in a spy thriller and Fury being one step ahead of everybody, it just really felt like whoever was the least stupid won. And
Wow.
that's, that to me, that screams maybe not great writing. I don't know. There was a lot of reshoots for this show, and maybe because of reshoots it screwed things up. I don't know, but yeah, it didn't land, I think, the way I wanted to. And I usually like everything Marvel, at least a little bit. Yeah, this one was just like, wait, what? It just really confused me. So, yeah, I hope the Marvels is good, man. And I really like the cast of the Marvels. I think that they, seeing those three women together, Captain Marvel, Miss Marvel, and Spectrum, or Photon, depending on what they're calling her, I really like all those actresses together. So, yeah, man, I don't know. I just hope it's good.
Yeah, I'm on the same kind of step. I think Disney Marvel did such a great job at giving us Infinity War and Endgame and that kind of very much like climax. And sometimes when you hit that, you get a little bit tired. You're maybe not as functionable as possible. To get you to that climax again, you got to really get aroused, especially after some of that, release initially. So I hopefully we're building to that again. They have been teasing us a little bit, making us a little bit more aroused in terms of like the Loki trailer, in terms of seeing what we get to see, what's being pushed back so they can refine a little bit more. So hopefully, if we're able to get to that point again, where Marvel will just keep stroking our creative slash very salivary egos when it comes to Marvel, maybe we can reach that climax again.
Oh man, I don't know if you should say stroking and then salivary in like one
Yeah.
sentence, but you did.
I know it sounded very physical, but I was only talking about Marvel and comic books and things. So just
Oh, okay. Wow, what a letdown.
wink, 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 wink.
Yeah. So, do you think the superhero fatigue is real, or do you just think Marvel's just not putting out the hits like it used to?
I think
And you could have a different answer. I only give you.
no, no, no. I
I
think it's a combination of both, but I think they both teeter totter. They're on a seesaw of imbalance, because yes, we are getting some fatigue because we've now seen all of our characters that we love in the Avengers and the Marvel role become established individuals, and we also know that they need to move on from those roles because they're actors. And now we have to deal with this adjustment period, and so that fatigue is hard. And on top of that, now Marvel has set such a huge standard that for them to get back there, not having the same pieces, you're like building a whole new team. You're seeing what plays you need to run and how kind of the game is evolved. In terms of like sports metaphors, I think they have what it takes, but at the same point in time, the biggest tell is going to be your customer base. How can you keep this type of customer base consistently involved in the things that they not only love but respect and know almost more than what you're giving them? And if that's the case, they're just going to go somewhere else for their kicks. Now,
Yeah.
that was super long, so I'm going to
Yeah.
stop talking now.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Yeah. This is what I think is going on. Phases 1 through 3. I know there was less content, there was less things coming out, but it always felt, and this came from a conversation from somebody way smarter than me who runs a way larger Marvel podcast, but we were talking about it, and it's the interconnectivity of the universe seems to have gone away. We never know
yep.
what character is going to show up and what next. We've just figured out that Loki's going to show up in Loki season 2. We just figured out that Miss Marvel is going to show up in the Marvels. We just figured out that, you know, Captain America Sam Wilson is going to be showing up in his own movie. But for the longest time, we didn't know when we were going to see these characters again. We didn't know what they're building to. We got our ultimate villain, supposedly, in Kang, defeated in Ant-Man. So it's like, can we even really be scared of this guy? He's not a Thanos. And then, you know, yeah, what are we building to? How are we going to connect all these different characters and stories into the same universe again? Because I appreciated it. In Phase 4, they did take some big swings, and some of them seem to have paid off, and some of them, I think that a lot of them didn't. And I think maybe we got to get back more to the foundation of what worked really well, which is building out these characters so much we cared about them, hoping that they're going to connect together, and then eventually taking us down a place. We don't know how we're going to get it, but we know that all these ingredients are going to equal this. We don't know how that pie is going to turn out, but we know we need the flour, we know we need sugar, we know we need the fruit filling, we know we need all these things, but how it turns out, we don't know, but we know what we're going to get. And I don't think we're getting that right now for the MCU, so I hope that they can figure it out. But yeah, I'm still excited for the Marvels. The trailers have looked phenomenal on it, and yeah, I love Aman Vellani. She's a super fan. She really wants the MCU to be good too, and yeah, so I don't know. I'm excited to see her.
No, yeah, definitely. I agree with all that sentiment. I think, especially when you have something as large, as fan based as what you're doing, to not listen to your fans, to kind of not delete them from the creation of things, but like listen to what your people want to see. If you know they want to see some stuff, show them the stuff. Like, especially because that's the end game for these large corporations. Now, maybe for the creatives within Marvel, they want to give us the best content, but maybe they're being pigeonholed by certain other bureaucratic things within a corporation. But to your point, I think, yeah, we can only have hope for it because we want to support it, because we love those things.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I hope they just take some lessons from what Oppenheimer did well in Barbie, because those movies are crushing it right now.
Yeah, seems like this is gonna be our Scarface situation when we're older. Like, oh, did you watch Oppenheimer and Barbie? Those two movies are so great. One was so enlightening, the other one's the bomb.
Yeah,
literally.
Exactly. Yeah, I think this is gonna be one of those movie times in history. Like, where were you when you saw Infinity War? Where were you when you saw Endgame? Where were you when the Barbenheimer was going on? So, yeah, for sure. I love those movies. Go watch them. And as always, like, I support SAG-AFTRA and the WGA. I think what they're fighting for is totally reasonable. I hope they get what they deserve. Some talks are in the works, so hopefully we can go back to business as usual and we don't get too many things delayed, because this isn't affecting anything. I mean, it is affecting some things this year, but it's going to affect a lot more things, I would say, later next year and then in the following year. So let's get to it. AMPT, MP, or whatever it's called. AMPM, I don't know. Yeah. All right. Yeah, any final words or thoughts?
No, the only thing to talk about is just loving, be love, eat, pray, love.
Okay, yeah.
Enjoy,
books.
Joy.
Maybe get some
comparison is the thief of joy. Yeah, you create a sisterhood and then, travel with those pants.
Exactly.
But yeah. You gotta say the phrase. You know the phrase.
I'm gonna say the phrase. All right.
Oh shit.
Gotta get out of here so I don't get bitten up more by mosquitoes.
Heyo.
Yeah. Thanks for sticking it with us.
Ooh.
The Joystick Show. The Joystick Show.